Hi folks, Yasin here, back again with part three of my George Lucas Star Wars History Archives History Lesson video. I know I said I would put the second part of my last video in the description for you, but I didn't get around to doing so. So for sure this time I'll have the links to the other two parts of said history lesson in the description box for you today. There. Yeah. Please like this video, please share it, please comment on it, please subscribe to my channel, and please click the bell for new notifications from me. I really need to work on scheduling, making videos for you folks. Alright, here goes. In January of 2012, Lucas announced his retirement from producing in January 2012, Lucas announced his retirement from producing large blockbuster films and instead refocusing his career on smaller, independently budgeted features. In June of that same year, it was announced that producer Kathleen Kennedy, a longtime collaborator with Steven Spielberg and producer of the Indiana Jones films, had been appointed as co-chair of Lucasfilm Limited. It was reported that Kennedy would work alongside Lucas, who would remain chief executive and serve as co-chairman for at least 1 year, after which she would succeed him as the company's sole leader. With the sale of Lucasfilm to Disney, Lucas is currently Disney's second largest single shareholder after the estate of Steve Jobs. Lucas worked as a creative consultant on the Star Wars sequel trilogy's first film, The Force Awakens. My personal favorite among these sequels, a very strong beginning to the sequel trilogy with lots of potential for these new characters for development, as well as further potential for the long-time characters like Luke, Han, and Leia for further character development. Please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. As I always say, opinions are opinions, so please share them with me in the comments bar. Lucas's involvement included attending early story meetings. According to Lucas, I mostly say, you can't do this, you can't do that, The cars don't have wheels. They fly with anti-gravity. There's a million little pieces. I know all that stuff. Lucas's son Jet told The Guardian that his father was very torn about having sold the rights to the franchise, despite having handpicked Abrams to direct. And that his father was there to guide, but that he wants to let it go and become its new generation. Among the materials turned over to the production team were story treatments Lucas developed when he considered Among the materials turned over to the production team were story treatments Lucas developed when he considered creating episodes 7, 8, and 9 himself. In January of 2015, Lucas stated that Disney had discarded his story ideas. The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, was released on December 18, 2018. 2015, oh my god. I'm sorry folks, still waking up from sleep. The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, was released on December 18th, 2015. Kathleen Kennedy produced the film and its sequels. The new sequel trilogy was jointly produced by Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company, which had acquired Lucasfilm in 2012 in 2012. There's a full stop right there. Bleh. During an interview with talk show host and journalist Charlie Rose that aired on December 24th, 2015, as I take a sip of my coffee. During this, Lucas likened his decision to sell Lucasfilm to Disney to a divorce and outlined the creative differences between him and the producers of The Force Awakens. Lucas went on to say that he needed to support the company and its employees who were going to suffer financially. Lucas described the previous 6 Star Wars films as his children and defended his vision for them, while criticizing The Force Awakens for having a retro feel, saying I worked very hard to make them completely different. With different planets, with different spaceships, to make it new. Lucas also drew some criticism and subsequently apologized for his remark likening Disney to white sleepers. In 2015, Lucas wrote the CGI film Strange Magic, his first musical. The film was produced at Skywalker Ranch. Gary Wright-Strom directed the movie. At the same time, the sequel trilogy was announced. At the same time the sequel trilogy was announced, a 5th installment of the Indiana Jones series also entered pre-development phase, with Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg set to return. Lucas originally did not specify whether the selling of Lucasfilm would affect his involvement with the Indiana Jones movies. Said film being this Indiana Jones movie. To all you Indiana Jones fans out there, what film was this? Or I could just look it up myself. In October 2016, Lucas announced his decision to not be involved in the story of the film, but was nevertheless credited as executive producer. In 2016, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, the first film of a Star Wars anthology series, was released. It told the story of the rebels who stole the plans for the Death Star, featured in the original Star Wars film, and it was reported that Lucas liked it more than The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi, the second film in the sequel trilogy, was released in 2017. Lucas described the film as beautifully made. Air quotes. In air quotes. Lucas has had cursory involvement with Solo: A Star Wars Story in 2018, the Star Wars streaming series. In 2018, Lucas has had cursory involvement with Solo: A Star Wars Story, the Star Wars streaming series The Mandalorian, and the premiere of the 8th season of Game of Thrones. Lucas met with J.J. Abrams before the latter began writing the script to the sequel trilogy's final film, The Rise of Skywalker, which was released in 2019. Lucas founded a film production company. Lucas founded a film production company, Lucasfilm, in 1971 and incorporated as Lucasfilm Limited on September 12, 1977. In the mid-1970s, the company's offices were located on the Universal Studios lot. Lucas Lucas founded the Star Wars Corporation Inc. Incorporated as a subsidiary to control various legal and financial aspects of Star Wars, including copyright and sequel and merchandising in rights. It also produced the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special for 20th Century Fox Television. That year, Lucas hired Los Angeles-based real estate specialist Charles Weber to manage the company, telling him that he could keep the job as long as he made money. Lucas wanted the focus of the company to be making independent films, but the company gradually became enlarged from 5 employees to almost 100, increasing in middle management and running up costs. In 1980, after Weber asked Lucas for $50 million to invest in other companies and suggested that they sell Skywalker Ranch to do so, Lucas fired Weber and had to let half of the Los Angeles staff go. By the same year, the corporate subsidiary had been discontinued and its business was absorbed into the various divisions of Lucasfilm. Lucas founded Industrial Light and Magic in 1975. He wanted his 1977 film Star Wars to include visual effects that had never been seen on film before. After discovering that the in-house effects department at 20th Century Fox was no longer operational, Lucas approached Douglas Trumbull, best known for the effects on 2001: A Space Odyssey and Silent Running. Trumbull declined as he was already committed to working on Steven Spielberg's film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but suggested his assistant John Dykstra to Lucas. I almost said Lucasfilm. Dykstra brought together a small team of college students, artists, and engineers and set them up in a warehouse in Van Nuys, California. After seeing the map for the location was zoned as light industrial, Lucas named the group Industrial Light and Magic, which became the spectral visual effects department on Star Wars. Alongside Dykstra, other leading members of the original ILM team were Ken Ralston, Richard Edlund, Dennis Muren, Robert Blalock, and Joe Johnston, Phil Tippett, Steve Gorley, Lord Peterson, and Paul Huston. By June 2013, Lucas was considering establishing a museum, the Lucas Cultural Arts Museum, to be built on Christie Field near the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, which would display his collection of illustrations and pop art, with an estimated value of more than $1 billion. Lucas offered to pay the estimated $300 million cost of constructing the museum and would endow it with $400 million when it opened, eventually adding an additional $400 million to its endowment. After being unable to reach an agreement with the Presidio Trust, Lucas turned to Chicago. A potential lakefront site on Museum campus in Chicago was proposed in May 2014. By June of that same year, Chicago had been selected, pending approval of the Chicago Plan Commission, which was granted. The museum project was renamed the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. On June 24, 2016, Lucas announced that he was abandoning his plan to locate the museum in Chicago due to a lawsuit local by a local preservation group, Friends of the Parks, and would instead Friend of the Parks? and would instead build and would instead build a instead build the rather museum in California. On January 17, 2017, Lucas announced that an 11-acre campus with green space and the museum's 5-story, 300,000 square foot building will be constructed over what was a parking lot in Exposition Park, Los Angeles, California. It is due to be completed in 2026. In July of this year, Lucas made his first ever appearance at San Diego Comic-Con, where he previewed the museum. At a panel, he showcased multiple pieces, including drawings from the original Iron Man comic, Indiana Jones concept art, Frida Kahlo paintings, and Peanut sketches that would be part of the museum's opening exhibits. Lucas was also heavily involved and invested in the scoring process for the original Star Wars soundtrack, which was composed by John Williams. On the recommendation of his friend and colleague Steven Spielberg, whilst initially wanting to use tracks and film music in a similar manner to 2001: A Space Odyssey, which served as the inspiration for the film. Whilst initially wanting to use tracks and music in a similar manner to 2001: A Space Odyssey, which served as the inspiration for the film, Williams advised against this, and instead proposed a system of recurring themes to enhance the story in the style of classical composers Gustav Holst, William Walton, and Igor Stravinsky. Works that Lucas had used as tempo tracks for Williams to gain inspiration from. The film and subsequent sequels and prequels made use of the main title theme, the Force theme, less commonly referred to as Obi-Wan Kenobi's theme, the Rebel Alliance theme, and Princess Leia's theme, all introduced in this film repeatedly. Subsequent films also added to the catalog of themes for different characters, factions, and locations. The score was released to critical acclaim and won Williams his third Academy Award for Best Original Score. The score was listed by the American Film Institute in 2005 as the greatest film score of all time. The professional relationship formed by Lucas and Williams extended through to Williams working on all of Lucas's blockbuster franchise movies. The remaining two films of the Star Wars original trilogy, all three films of the prequel trilogy developed over 15 years later, and the 5 films of the Indiana Jones franchise in which Williams reunited with his longtime collaborator Spielberg. In his collaborations with Lucas, Williams received 6 of his 52 Academy Award nominations. After Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, Williams stayed on board with the franchise and continued to score the remaining 3 films of the Skywalker saga: The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, for which he received a further 3 Oscar nominations, after which he announced his retirement from the series. Lucas was in attendance, not attention, for a ceremony honoring Williams as the 44th recipient of the AFI Life Achievement Award, the first composer to receive the honor, and gave a speech in praise of their relationship and his work. In interviews and most famously at the 40th anniversary Star Wars Celebration convention. Lucas had repeatedly reaffirmed the importance of Williams to the Star Wars saga, affectionately referring to him as the secret source of his movies. Lucas is the wealthiest film celebrity in the world. His personal net worth is estimated to be between $7.5 to $9.4 billion, making him one of the richest people in the entertainment industry. Lucas has pledged to give half of his fortune to charity as part of an effort called the Giving Pledge, led by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, to persuade America's richest individuals to donate their financial wealth to charities. In 1991, the George Lucas Educational Foundation was founded as a non-profit operating foundation to celebrate and encourage innovation in schools. The foundation's content is available under the brand Edutopia in an award-winning website called Social Media and via documentary films. Lucas, through his foundation, was one of the leading proponents of the E-Rate program in the Universal Service Fund, which was enacted as part of the Telecommunications Act of 1996. On June 24, 2008, Lucas testified before the United States House of Representatives Subcommittee on Telecommunications and the Internet as the head of his foundation to advocate for a free wireless broadband education network. In 2012, Lucas sold Lucasfilm to the Walt Disney Company for a reported sum of $4.5 billion. I heard it was $4 billion, but I didn't know exactly how much. It was widely reported at the time that Lucas intended to give the majority of the proceeds from the sale to charity. A spokesperson for Lucasfilm said George Lucas has expressed his intention, in the event the deal closes, to donate the majority of the proceeds to his philanthropic endeavors. Lucas also spoke on the matter. For 41 years, the majority of my time and money has been put into the company. As I start a new chapter in my life, it is gratifying that I have the opportunity to devote more time and resources to philanthropy. In 2005, in 2005, Lucas gave 1 million to help build the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. to commemorate American civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. On September 19, 2006, the University of Southern California announced that Lucas had donated between $175 to $180 million to his alma mater to expand the film school. It is the largest single donation to USC and the largest gift to a film school anywhere. Previous donations led to the already existing George Lucas Instructional Building and Marshall Lucas Post-Production Building. In 2013, Lucas and his wife Melody Hobson donated $25 million to the Chicago-based not-for-profit After School Matters, of which Hobson is the chair. On April 2015-2016, it was reported that Lucas had donated between $501,000 and $1 million through the Lucas Family Foundation, now Hobson Lucas Family Foundation, to the Obama Foundation, which is charged with overseeing the construction of the Barack Obama Presidential Center on Chicago's south side. In 2021, Lucas and his wife Melody Hobson made a donation to NYU through the Hobson Lucas Family Foundation to establish the Martin Scorsese Institute of Global Cinematic Arts. That's going to be it for this part of this video, folks. I'll be back with part 4. I'll be back with part 4 of said video for you soon. But for now, that's it. Please like this video, please share it, please comment on it, please subscribe to my channel, and please click the bell for new notifications from me. But that's all for now. Bye.